Teachers commonly ask, how did a handprint approach emerge for activating ESD in subject teaching? Well, the origins are actually very interesting because it emerged in India when an open-hearted moral imperative of a young Indian girl inspired a global movement of handprint action towards sustainability. And one of the leading promoters of this was the Center for Environmental Education in India. As it became a global phenomenon, then it began to grow out of the idea of a footprint as a negative impact and a handprint as something positive that could be done. And teachers began to work with us using the Sustainable Development Goals in co-engaged learning that was much more aligned to the interests and feelings of the students, to support their students to recognize concerns, to assess value, and to take positive learning actions to explore possible change. And what happened is the ethical side started to come out more clearly, and care became of interest. And in work with the in northern Norway on the Locums project, the Sami people came up with respect and engagement in a common good as being really the key foundations of a handprint approach. So concern for others, being attentive to needs were added, and we had handprint care. And this handprint process has developed in many ways in different countries, but one of the key elements has been empathy, feeling for others, and agency, being able to do things. So you're not just learning about things, but you're learning to recognize concerns, to assess value, and to take positive learning actions, to do something about these concerns. And what we found that the teachers began to develop was a four-quadrant approach, a sort of four-step approach, if you like, involving the stories to start up, to recognize things, then inquiry to begin to assess and to understand things, and then doing things together. And these could happen in any order. So a handprint action learning approach began to evolve in different subjects in different ways as curriculum activated learning around real-world story. And then this was supporting learner-led hands-on inquiry with deliberative knowledge mediation. In other words, knowledge was really important. It wasn't just an affective or a feeling-based approach, but knowledge and feeling are combined in ethics-led action for more just and sustainable futures. So story sharing to tune in. The sharing dimension came out really strongly in this work. Then finding out and imagining possible differences and possible trajectories to solve problems. Imagining came out of that as well. Working out to understand things together. Understanding added a dimension. And then caring actions. And of course, these things are happening simultaneously, and they happen in any order around matters of concern, like are raised in the Sustainable Development Goals, and linked to and activated in a curriculum setting. So what happened is we put matters of concern at the center of a whole lot of curriculum areas, and we started to find out that there were similarities where the teachers could work with a four-quadrant model that was developed out of the work that Anne Edwards did on Vygotskian learning theory. So there was a tuning in process. How were things in the past? And then a finding out process. How are things today? What are the concerns? A working out process. What does this mean to us today? And then a trying out process. What can we do to make a difference together? So these elements emerged and developed through sharing to raise questions, to reimagine so that we had shared concerns, provoking understanding. Then we had shared purpose towards doing something about it. and then a reflexive process. So that these foundations allowed us to, in different subjects, work with the teachers to plan handprint action learning in ways that were just an expansion of existing ways of teaching and more engaged in learner agency towards doing positive things in a world at risk.